So today we're going to trace the incredible journey of a really unique and influential community, the Hyderabadi Deccanis. Their story is all about migration, influence, and this amazing cultural resilience, stretching from the fall of a princely state right into the corridors of power in new nations. Let's dive in and see how this diaspora ended up shaping capitals and building new lives all across the globe.
You know, if you're in Pakistan and someone tells you they're Hyderabadi, it's not as simple as it sounds. The term can actually mean two totally different groups with completely different histories and cultures. So which one are we talking about today?
Well, we're focusing on the Hyderabadi Deccanis. These are migrants and their descendants from the old princely state of Hyderabad, Deccan, down in South India. They have a culture, a language, and a history that's completely separate from the Hyderabadis of Sindh province. And their whole modern story really kicks off with one single massive event.
And that event was the fall of Hyderabad in 1948. After the state was annexed by India, a huge part of its educated class, we're talking top bureaucrats, administrators, the elite families, they basically found their world turned upside down. This was the moment, the catalyst, that sparked this huge wave of migration and launched a journey that would end up spanning continents.
You can really break this whole journey down into three big phases. First, the bustling port city of Karachi, then the new corridors of power in Islamabad, and finally, out into the wider world, to new frontiers across the globe. Our story begins with that very first stop.
Right, so after 1948, Karachi became the main destination. For this displaced elite, it was a place to kind of regroup, rebuild their lives, and start contributing to the new nation of Pakistan. But for many of them, it wasn't going to be their final home.
The second phase of their journey really gets going in the 1960s. This is when Pakistan was building its new capital, Islamabad, literally from the ground up. And as the government started to shift, a huge number of the Hyderabadi Deccani community, who were already pretty deep in the civil service, they moved right along with it.
And wow, were they the right people for the job? You see, the princely state of Hyderabad had been famous for its super sophisticated civil service. It was a legacy of administrative excellence that they carried with them. They were valued for being highly educated and for their famously refined Nawabi etiquette. So it's no surprise they quickly came to dominate the early bureaucracy in foreign affairs, playing a massive role in designing the administrative DNA of the new capital.
But here's the thing, it wasn't just about their professional skills. They brought their entire culture with them, and they started transforming corners of this new, planned city into a world that felt like home. Their influence wasn't just in the offices. You could find it in the homes, in the kitchens, and in the very sound of the city.
And you can still see, hear, and even taste that cultural footprint today. You can find their legacy families still living in Islamabad sectors like F6 and F7. You can hear their distinct Deccani Urdu, which has this unique musical quality to it. And you can definitely taste it in amazing dishes like the tangy, nutty Bagari Bagan and the legendary Kachi Biryani that still show up on dinner tables.
Okay, so the story doesn't stop in Islamabad, not by a long shot. The next chapter belongs to the second and third generations. They were driven by that same traditional focus on education and professional excellence, and they started looking beyond Pakistan for opportunities in North America, Europe, and the Middle East.
So, where did they go? Well, their global migration followed a few key paths. North America, especially the US and Canada, became a huge hub. The United Kingdom was another major destination, along with the booming economies in the Middle East, like the UAE and Saudi Arabia.
And in North America, their success has been, well, pretty incredible. In cities like Chicago, Houston, and Toronto, you'll find these thriving Deccani communities with active Hyderabadi associations that work to keep those cultural ties strong. And professionally, they've made a huge mark in two big fields, IT and medicine.
Meanwhile, over in the UK, the community has really focused on preserving its rich artistic heritage. Especially in London, they've kept their deep-rooted literary traditions alive by holding classic poetry gatherings known as mushahiras to celebrate the beauty of Deccani Urdu. Now, the Middle East is a really interesting case. It's a place where you have Hyderabadi engineers and educators from both India and Pakistan working and living right alongside each other. So in a way, the community there acts as this cultural bridge, reconnecting the two branches of the Deccani diaspora that were separated by the 1947 partition. And all of this brings us right back to that crucial point of identity I mentioned at the start. It's so important to understand the difference between the Hyderabadis from Deccan and those from Sindh, because for the community itself, this distinction is absolutely fundamental. So let's break it down. The Hyderabadi Deccanis are migrants from the Deccan region. They speak a unique form of Urdu and are known for their traditional Sherwani and aristocratic Nawabi style. On the other hand, Hyderabadi Sindhis are native to Sindh. They speak Sindhi or a more standard Urdu, and their culture is rooted in local Sindhi traditions. Two very different groups sharing one name.
So when you pull it all together, what's the ultimate legacy of this incredible journey? I think it's best captured by a really powerful metaphor. They didn't just leave their home, they actually brought it with them.
I mean, their professional impact on the world stage has been huge. You'll find Deccani origin professors in top universities, you'll see key officials in places like the UN and the World Bank, and diplomats who, through their refinement and intellect, have consistently provided a really positive, soft image for Pakistan globally.
And that's why, at the end of the day, it all comes back to this one really powerful idea. Wherever they went, from the streets of Karachi to the planned sectors of Islamabad, they took a mini Hyderabad with them. They carried this portable world of hospitality, sophistication, and a deep, deep love for knowledge. And that really leaves us with a final fascinating question to think about. The story of the Hyderabadi Deccani diaspora is just a masterclass in cultural preservation. And it makes you wonder, across generations and across continents, so far away from its original home, how does a culture not only survive but actually thrive?